any really good ones other than "Make My Day" Punk, and that's just not a good.
Go for it. Do it.
Make my day. Just kind of.
That's it.
What if you made it like a question, like "Make my day," huh?
Like go all Anchorman with Dirty Harry. But anyways, we'll start the show. So good evening, all. This is our 1 year anniversary show. Holy crap! I cannot believe it's 1 year. We've lasted this long, and let alone I think we've drugged Jeff into coming back on the show a few times now, amazingly. But thank you all. We're gonna touch more on it here in a second. But this is our live show streaming to you on YouTube for exactly 1 year. 1 year ago today.
That's just not a good.
Go for it. Do it.
Oh,
Hold on. I think I have it playing. That's great. That was me. Sorry. I did that during the Bill April interview too. I had a thing on. I was like, what is going on here? Like Nick Humphreys lied to me. This thing doesn't work, and.
I appreciate the shout out too on that video, man. That was awfully.
Well, it was the truth. I couldn't figure that out.
I would say both you guys are smarter than a 10-year-old, though. I think you guys really doubted yourself there.
It's horrifying to be responsible for anything technical.
Yep, this is our live show streaming to you guys. Go check us out on iTunes. You guys all know the drill. New episodes are dropping kind of on Saturdays, Sundays, somewhere in there. But be sure to put your questions in the chat box of the Google Q&A app. You guys are very lucky to have. We're very lucky to have Mr. Jeff Bluvman from ARM Dynamics on the show. Amazingly smart, funny, hilarious, entertaining, and you know what? He knows a little about guns too. So put in your questions. He is a brilliant master of the firearms arts. So Get your questions into him, and he will answer them. Also, be sure to click that like and share button on the video, as it really helps us spread the word about the show around YouTube. That was a good intro, wasn't it?
Dude, that was the nicest intro anyone has ever given.
It's like you had a year of practice.
No, that was. I actually feel special. I'm gonna prop myself on a pillow. I'm all yours. Butter me up.
And of course, guys, we're also joined by Greg. Greg is back on the show. 1 year ago today, me, Greg, myself, and Matt and Jeff did our first show. So Greg is back on along with us as well for a little celebration of our 1 year anniversary. But we'll talk about more of all this stuff later. Let's go ahead and start the show. Welcome to Practically Tactical, episode 40. What was that?
I like the dramatic pause. It was good. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Clear my throat and,
Do the show thing. Do the move.
No, that's actually good because I said the wrong episode number, so that's probably a good thing. Here we go. I gotta have the pause so I know when to cut it, because then I gotta extract out.
Right.
Everything now goes on the podcast. So
cut and extract. Got it.
Yeah. All right. Welcome to Practically Tactical, episode 48, brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network. The Practically Tactical show features a roundtable discussion about guns, gear, and shooting. For more information on the show, links to our guests, guns, and gear we discuss, please visit TacTacPodcast.com/048. This episode is a very special episode, as the day we're recording this episode, October 16th, is our 1 year episode of Practically Tactical. So 1 year ago today, myself, as we're joined by Greg here on the show, and Matt from Walker Armory, and Jeff Bluvman recorded our first show 1 year ago, episode 1, and so we're kind of back again today and talking, kind of a little what's changed since then. A lot has changed for me, and catching up on some stuff. So we got a lot of really cool stuff coming up. We're talking about a giveaway. We're going to do some mindset. We're going to do some EDC. And Jeff has an amazing class coming up. And speaking of Jeff here, Jeff Bluvman, ARM Dynamics, thank you for coming on, man. I greatly appreciate it. 1 year, huh?
It is
1 year.
Throwback Thursday?
Yeah.
Coincidence?
Yeah.
I
shows and stuff. It's been fun.
Yes, we've had a lot of good times on the show. So if you guys don't know Jeff Arm Dynamics, you can check him out on YouTube. You can check him out on Facebook. You can check him out on the interwebs. And finally, Instagram.
I'm so bad at posting on it.
You might be on Harmony, too. eHarmony?
Yeah. I don't think that eHarmony is the religious one, right?
I don't know.
Or no, that's Christian Mingle. Forget it.
Oh, so you're on.
No, I'm not on I don't think that they don't like me there.
Okay, so eHarmony.
Hey, can I add my logo thing now, or will that screw your show up? Because I forgot to add. People know.
People know you. I mean,
okay.
People definitely know you.
They know of you, at least.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like an idiot trying to figure out how. You do your show thing. I'm just.
Well, I mean,
ride.
Everybody should know you from the movie Top Gun, obviously. I mean, you're wearing the shirt today. So, for those that don't know, watch Top Gun.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite shirts, and I figure, why not?
Why not? But also as well, we're also joined by my brother Greg, who was on the first couple episodes as well. Obviously, a lot of things have changed for Greg since then, man. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. I am very tied up. Been committing a lot of time to. I'm in a paramedic program, so that takes a lot of time. I work night shifts, 12-hour night shifts in a fairly large metropolitan area. So I'm either working or in school. I'd love to come on more, but it's kind of how the cookie crumbles, Yeah. So
we also haven't invited you, but that
Yeah. Well, I heard it was like you guys knew, so you weren't gonna send the invitation. That's kind of how I.
Okay. Yeah.
Thought of it.
But let's move on to our first topic here, and it's been 1 year since our first show, which is absolutely amazing, and of course that goes a big thanks to our guests, just like Jeff, for coming on the show and sharing a really wealth of information for not only ourselves but our viewers. And obviously, a big shout out to all of our viewers and listeners on podcast. The show has grown amazingly, especially on podcast. So you guys are fantastic out there, and I greatly appreciate it. But over the past year, so much has really changed for us. I know Jeff's been doing a lot of gunsmithing stuff. He's really posting some awesome pictures on his Facebook page, so you got to really go like his Facebook page. Doing some amazing work over there. But so Jeff, what's kind of been going on like the past year with you? Have you kind of had any dramatic changes in any of your philosophies or changes in the way your preparedness or kind of anything along those lines?
Well, let me think. That's a tough and a broad question, but I'm sure that there's a lot of things that have changed. I mean, first of all, trying to calm down a little bit. I spent a lot of 2013 kind of like rawr, and now I'm maybe it's just me hitting 32 in my old age. I'm getting more calm about stuff, but no, it's been a good year, man. I recommitted myself to martial arts and started training again, and that feels so good. I mean, I just really missed it. I injured myself doing CrossFit, actually, of all things, and multiple times, actually, and then by the fourth injury, I was like, probably not a good idea, so I went to the gym, got myself healed and fixed, and now I'm back training mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu, and I'll tell you, man, there's so much to be said for being in some sort of martial arts training program. And I mean, I would love, honestly, I mean, I know that, you're a father and you got a job and all this stuff, but I would love to see the Nick Humphreys in like 4 months into a program of some sort. Like they say, the thing at the gym that I'm at now, the Henzo Gracie Philly Academy, the Daniel Gracie place, is that, they can't do anything. Well, I don't know if this is the exact quote, but essentially you got to go 3 times a week to really see results. Whether it's physically or with technique and stuff. And man, I challenge you to just find time to do that. And it's so wonderful. Especially if now like you're going to talk about some of your mindset developments over the past year with. I see you got not rid of your Sigma, but upgraded, we'll say. Yeah, so that's kind of a little challenge, and we could talk more about that, offline as well. Maybe some places that are around you. But yeah, so that and doing a lot of gunsmithing, and that's just been a tremendous outlet for me. I've kind of what I tell people is we're like, how did you get into gunsmithing? And honestly, I've always been interested. I used to, like when I was growing up and stuff, I'd be in my my basement of my house with like an M1 Garand kind of broken into parts, and like I'd be down there for what seemed like an hour, and then my mother would come to the stairs and be like, Jeffrey, it's midnight, come to sleep, And I just find them incredibly interesting from a mechanical perspective, and especially slightly older guns, pre-computer days, and just thinking about like what level of genius somebody had to have to make a gun function as well as they do, without or before the advent of computers. That's pretty cool. And yeah, doing a lot of gunsmithing, working on a series of guns called the Stakeout series, which one of my mentors beats me up for the name. He's like, that's stupid. But I'm like, I think it's cool. It's a themed series of guns that are all the guns need to have existed before 1980, and what you would ideally want to have with you on a stakeout during any pre-80s kind of thing. It's kind of loosely based off the NYPD Stakeout Squad, like the Jim Cirillo guys, and if you don't know anything about them, it's such an interesting story. But yeah, so doing a lot of Browning high powers and old school revolvers and blasters and shotguns, and it's fun, man. It's fun.
No, I am jealous, especially what was the picture you just put up? A high power, right? I don't think it was a Browning high power. I think it was I want to say Ford manufacturer.
No, all the ones that I have done, I'm trying to think. They've all been FN high powers.
Okay.
And there's actually it's a great opportunity right now, because prior to this, it's like there were Argentinian high powers, which are good guns. They're made under contract by FN, and they're good, but they're made in Argentina, and it's slightly more third worldish type quality. I mean, they can be made to shoot really, really nicely. But there's a whole flood of high powers coming into the country right now for sub $500. A lot of them around the $420 range, and so I've had a lot of people pick them up, and then we're growing just by word of mouth and by Facebook and all that kind of stuff, and people are sending me their high powers, and it's so cool, man, turning like these very worn old blasters into like nice carry guns, and pretty much every single thing on the gun I work on. There's almost nothing that I don't modify or enhance in some way, and it's all form over function, or excuse me, function over form. Yet they still, they're really aesthetically pleasing. I just learned like a couple weeks ago how to do the blue niter finish, which is like a really bluish, pretty finish.
The blue one.
Yeah, for like little parts and stuff. Otherwise, the guns are Parkerized, and then I'm really in love with the whole VZ grips. And for people that don't speak gun talk, I'm sorry, it's probably, but for the gun geeks and stuff, they're probably enjoying that. So yeah, VZ grips make some awesome grips for like various different guns. Like Greg, you're on the screen right now. You're like. He's like, no, I wasn't.
I forgot I was here for a second.
Well, Greg, obviously you need to buy.
I wasn't Googling things. I wasn't Googling terms.
Totally wasn't.
I do.
Well, Greg, we're definitely gonna hit on you here, because obviously you've had a lot of the medical stuff. We've done medical shows before, and but Jeff, I mean, there's kind of got to be I'm guessing a really good sense of accomplishment in taking a firearm that might not function or function well, and totally redoing every single part, completely redoing it, and kind of seeing it in action. It's got to be kind of kick-ass. It's kick-ass. There's no other word for it.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that it comes across that way. For me, it's really like the closest. Well, it is my artistic outlet right now. I used to act, and do all that. And I was raised doing like, art stuff. My parents sent me to like little school things for pottery or whatever when you're a kid and whatever, you're all messed up and what, me? No, but no, it's fun and people are digging them, and I think that it should be not only a very, very, it's like a functional piece of art, So yeah, there is a sense of accomplishment, especially when people get them and they're like, yeah, bro, I love this thing, man. Just like that.
Do you deal with all hipsters? Is that a lot of your clientele?
That'd be really funny. It'd be like flowers on the slide, whole thing. Why am I always the only one that's not drinking?
I know. I don't know what's going on with that.
I'm afraid to.
Ironically enough, speaking of hipsters, 2 days ago, was it yesterday? I think we had the king of hipsters come in. I also work at a gun shop now. I don't even think I've told you that.
No.
We had the king of hipsters walk into I work at a gun shop on a hunting range, and the king of hipsters came in. I'm talking the old school little visors, the plaid, total hipster, wanting to buy bear fur for clothes, and I was just amazed at it.
Do you have bear fur for sale?
Yeah, no, we don't. We don't. I guess he thought hunting club for pheasants, bear fur, yes. But then he was totally into guns, and it kind of not something you expect. A guy walking with a visor, and he's probably carrying a VHS tape or two.
Wow, VHS, yeah.
And totally into guns too, which was awesome. Which at a gun store you learn very quickly you never read anybody. You don't judge a book by their cover in a gun store because all walks of life come in there.
Well, no, that's the God's honest truth, and there's a whole emerging group of people that typically you wouldn't associate with firearms. There is a changing face of the American gun owner, and it's, I think, a much more inclusive group than it ever has been. And yeah, I mean, for example, the range that I train a lot of people at, Philly Gun Range, just off of Spring Garden Street. Man, I'll tell you, people walk in with the guitar cases with Eat More Kale on the side, and they have an M4 in it, So it's really cool. It feels good to be part of something that is growing by leaps and bounds for the better, I think, because it's not a racial thing. It's not a sexual orientation thing. I mean, the Second Amendment's for everybody. It's not just for old white dudes with fishing vests and caps on, NRA caps on. That's still an element, and that's a cool element. Those dudes are awesome. I have a lot of really good conversations about how badass they were when they were fighting in various different wars and stuff. But it's not just them anymore. It's much larger than it ever has been, so it's pretty cool. Bear furs, man.
Bear furs.
Yep.
Well, Greg, I'm gonna talk to you here, and then Jeff, if you got any quips, comments, or just funny things or random comments of bear fur, throw it in.
Yeah, bro.
So Greg, obviously, for those that might not be familiar, I don't know how familiar the podcast side is kind of familiar with you, but obviously you were in the Army, and then you went to Iraq. You came back. You've now been an EMT, and obviously now you're in a large metropolitan area doing some EMT stuff. So, what? I don't want to say it's been like culture shock, but what has it kind of been like in dealing with the everyday Joe citizen and the type of injuries that they may occur somehow, whether it be CrossFit or silenced potato guns?
Wow.
It's I'm actually kind of lucky where I work. We have such a wide demographic of people that we service. We have parts in the northern end where there's NBA players live, and we have further south where it's trailers. We have really, really, really low end government housing. I mean, we have everything. So you really get to see a lot of the people that call for tooth pain. You get to see the calls people that got shot. You just see the whole spectrum and everything in between. I'm sure that's the same for anywhere, but it's crazy. You can't ever really predict how you might get a call for something and it'll just be something completely different. You just never know. It's really fun. I've enjoyed it a lot.
Kind of like, for example, randomly thinking of stories like you show up and the guy is naked with a trash bag wrapped around his penis and refuses to take it off. There's been a few of those calls.
There has been a few psychiatrics. Let me see if I can get you some eye candy.
You've also been treating bullet wounds. How's that been going?
I actually got to work my very first shooting if y'all can see this right here. Right there. See, that's my first one.
Is that like a 22?
I don't know if y'all are able to see that or not.
Yeah, that looks really small.
Yes, it was a smaller caliber. The whole thing took place with a 9mm, so I don't know if that's a fragmentation, but you can obviously see the entrance and where the round actually rested. He was lucky it never even hit his bone. So he was pretty lucky. Yeah, very, very lucky.
That's 9mm?
The entrance wound was extremely small and there was no exit. So I think it was either fragmentation or there was a second caliber involved. So, but that was my first one, and it wasn't as crazy traumatic as I wanted it to be for my first, but.
Did you ask the guy if he'd like autograph it for you? Like, hey bro, this might seem a little weird, but this is my first shooting. Can you like autograph it?
No, but it was actually funny because that was the first time he'd ever been shot, and he was like, "Oh man!" Like we brought him outside of his house. For that area, that's a bit of a shocker. We brought him outside his house, and there was like 1,000 million cops and reporters and all this stuff. And he's like, "Oh man, I'm so screwed." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "My mom lives 2 houses down. She's gonna totally find out I got shot."
Dude.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
That's some good times, man. Holy cow.
Yeah. It's been a blast. I really loved it. I'm really excited. Once I should be wrapping up my paramedic this time next year, and so it'll be 10 times more fun when all those treatments are my calls and those calls are mine. So it'll be fun to take the forefront of all that.
And
until now, I'm still really enjoying it, kind of.
And you're gonna get to administer drugs.
Yeah. I still do. I'm an intermediate, so I do have drugs.
Oh, you got to
not crazy cool drugs, but I do have drugs.
What you can give the drugs to people?
I just
not to me, to other people, to the people that are in. The people that are injured.
I feel like we need to really clarify this again. Also, we'll get it out of the way to clarify, if Jeff ever says pigs, he means animals. We just want to clarify that. We had some confusion before. The animals.
Yes. Oh, yep. Oink, oink, pigs.
Not anything other than an animal.
Look at what you did. You did this again. That show brings out the worst in people.
Oh. Well, Greg, that's awesome, and obviously we got to hang out in Idaho, and we put together some really good videos, especially the Dead Space video. For those that aren't familiar with it, that was a really good video. I think that was really well received too. That's a decently popular video as well. But so I'm going to kind of do a whole rewind here a little bit, and so we started the show in October, and literally it would be 6 months, almost to the day, is when I bought my first handgun. And so then the show happened, and it's been this tremendous amount of information, and that's really the whole goal of the show. We always want it to be entertaining. We always want to have awesome guests on here like Jeff, who are just knowledgeable, friendly, entertaining, and just have this wealth of knowledge and information to share. But you really got to walk away with something, and that's a goal of the show. We always want you to walk away with something, some information, or something that you're better than. It might necessarily not be something gun-related. Sometimes maybe it might be an alcohol-related tip, but you're going to walk away with something. But my wealth of information and my mindset, I think, has really changed more than anything. Like, I remember, like, back then, like, wow, you know, I'll preface this by saying I am not recommending or saying that I or anybody else should ever break any local, state, or federal laws. But back then, it was like, oh, well, that's a gun-free zone. I need to just get a shiny holster to show off how, you know, I can't carry my gun here. Now it's I take my gun everywhere. I take a gun everywhere. Doesn't matter. And, you know, I'm not saying I break any laws. Would never do that, and I'm not recommending anybody do that. But that's just a whole mindset change, and really, kind of how it's a lifestyle change. It's not something like, oh, I'm going to carry a gun, and that's kind of, or I'm going to carry a knife and a flashlight and whatever else. It is a total type of lifestyle change where, you know, these tools that I carry around every single day, you know, are part of my life. They're an important part. They're an important aspect of my life, and how I carry myself, how I act, how I present myself, and how the information I share with other people that I engage with in the gun shop, you know, that is all because of this show. That's how much my life has totally changed. Literally because of this show, and I feel like I'm a better person because of it. I feel like I'm far more well prepared in life because of the show and the changes that went on, and all around I feel like I'm a far better confident person. Not because of the gun, but because of the wealth of knowledge and information that I've gained. That I feel more confident about the way that I live my life now. And,
that's real talk, dude. That's good stuff right there.
Yeah, and
that's good stuff.
It's just been a total change of life, and it's funny too, especially when you look at like my wife when I first kind of started doing all this stuff and kind of changed. Oh, why are you doing that? Blah blah blah. Now, after she kind of sees like, hey, a person can carry around a gun and it won't go off. Who knew? You know, that, hey, this is actually kind of good. You know, and I think that's the type of thing to where you make that little interaction, whether it be on the show or a person on the street or a person in the shop, to where you share a little bit of knowledge or something like that, and it plants that seed, and then it grows, just like it did for me on the show. So that's kind of, I think, a brief summary of the past year. Then, yes, to be fair, when I had the Sigma, I also had the M&P 9. I still have the M&P 9. But yes, I have a Glock 34 now. I have a Glock 42. I'm sure I'll have more Glocks as it goes. Because
it's not an M&P. You had a Sigma.
I had a Sigma and an M&P 9.
Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with M&P 9.
No, other than the trigger.
Right.
But that's now my home gun. It's a great gun, reliable gun. That's the gun that I keep definitely by the bedside every single night. It's a great gun. I've shot it a lot. But no, I'm on the Glock bandwagon, baby. I'm here. I'm hoping that I can still be accepted into the community. You know, I might need you to vouch for me, but I'm on the Glock bandwagon.
Like, here's the thing: is like an M&P is a fine gun. In fact, one of my friends, who I've known since like first grade, he said, "What kind of gun should I get?" And I said, "Look, you want to go like practically tactical. Hey,
there you go.
Practical, or do you want to go with something that, you know, for an everyday carry kind of thing?" And he said, everyday carry. Tell me more about that. I said, look, a Glock or an M&P. And if it's got an M&P, I'd suggest, you know, spending a couple bucks, getting an Apex trigger installed properly, and good sights, you know. And there's nothing wrong with M&P. But as far as like this whole idea of a Glock bandwagon, and like, I don't know, somebody made a comment on some video that I was in or did, like, oh, I think it was on the Armory channel, and I was talking about guns that I recommend, and they were like, oh, you know, you're just a Glock guy, and, you know, you swore you drank the Kool-Aid, and I'm like, look, here's the truth behind the whole notice how I don't have to cuss.
Yes.
I don't have to.
I
want to real bad, but I'm not gonna.
We've went like 40 minutes so far.
We've been on here for 40 minutes?
Or 30 minutes.
Wow. Well, anyway, you know, Glocks just work most of the time. You know, they continue to work, and that's why I carry them, and you know, I know them pretty well. They're real simple. What's not to like? Again, it's, you know, it's not like, hey, look at this beautiful Glock 19. Look at how it shines. look at the, this blue nitered pin that I have on. It's like, no, that doesn't happen. But if you need to, like, flag blast some bad dude, then it's going to work, So that's why I like Glocks a lot for stuff. But they're boring. They're boring.
No, but that's kind of what adds to the mystique of them, I think, is it just works. It just works. But I have to ask, what is flag blast? I'm not familiar with that term.
That's like shoot someone in the face.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing. Shooting. So flag blasting. Actually, my friend Chuck Haggard, he was the first one I heard say that. He said flag blast someone that comes in the movie theater because they came in the entrance or the exit way. Not to do that. We were talking about active shooters, and it was right after that theater shooter in what was it, Aurora? I think in Aurora, Colorado. Yeah, he used the word flag blast, and I was like, "Well, that's a good word."
That is.
You can have that too.
Oh,
I'm not gonna take credit
because I totally get it. Flag blast, totally. Boy, working in a gun shop and being flagged, but that's another story.
Isn't it weird? Okay, because now that I work at a gun store where I'm gunsmithing and stuff, isn't it strange how quickly you become comfortable with being muzzled? Because it's horrible to say. You should never be. You should always be like, watch where you're pointing that muzzle and finger up, But dude, if you did that, then you'd just constantly be yelling. It's like some guy. It's like once people come in, you clear their gun, and they don't let me work by the counter. Something about sexual harassment or whatever. But it's like if you actually stopped and said to every single person, it's like people muzzle everybody all the time in gun stores. That's why I work in the back, dude.
Yeah.
That's why I work in the back, brah.
Well, man. All right, let's go down. You want to go down this road of gun shops? You want to go down?
I want to know. Like, how quickly did you become just like, like you see muzzles all day?
Yeah.
Am I right or am I wrong?
Well,
customer's always right.
The customer's not always right because there's some stupid fucking customers. There are some stupid people with guns, and anybody that says that there aren't is living in a fucking. You can bleep that, but it's staying in for me, for posterity's sake, for my own.
That was already your second one, just so you know.
What's that?
That was your second one.
Well, yeah, two.
Oh,
that's
okay.
30 minutes. Come on, buddy.
one for the same subject.
Yeah. Well, okay. Now this is gonna sound totally bad. This is gonna sound terrible, and let me explain after a while here. But working in a gun shop has made me hate 99% of gun owners.
Oh! It's true. It's really dude, hold on. I'm going to cut you off even though it's your own show. Okay. But I'll just talk over you if you don't let me cut you off, okay? Think of how many the other day somebody walked in and said, "What caliber is a 9mm?" Okay? Think about that. That really happened. The other thing that happened was somebody said they were talking about ARs, and the guy behind the counter, who's a friend of mine, he says, he's like, well, this is a gas-operated direct impingement. The guy said, well, do you sell gas for them here?
Nice.
And another guy the other day said, do you have any over and under semi-automatic shotguns? So now you go. Take it away.
That's funny. Yeah. Where do you put the gas? I've heard that before on an AR. Yeah. Here's the thing. It sounds terrible, and I don't. It's like that at work. When I get off work, I don't feel the same way. But when you're there, and it's just like we have a range in our place, and we're also a big shotgun place because obviously we're a hunting place. We have sporting clays. We have 5-stand. But here's the thing. So you'll see guys that'll come and they'll go down to our range. So they'll take their Glock. They'll buy a couple boxes. They'll sit there and just literally mag dump, leaving the range. I'm good. And accomplished nothing. I can take a new shooter down to the range and do the exact same thing that you did, and that's it. And then and there is for some reason this lack again with 99% of people that want zero lack of information. They don't want to increase their knowledge at all. They refuse to take any sort of training or better themselves in any certain way. And it's funny too, man, I'm gonna really piss people off here.
Do it.
Preach it. Preach it.
They're like hypocrites in a sense, to where they say, oh, gun rights, everybody in guns rights, God, we just, people just need more educated about guns. In the same token, they won't go get more educated about guns themselves. They won't, and they refuse to do it, and that's really the irritating thing. But obviously, when I get off my soapbox at work and I come home and de-stress out, obviously, I want everybody to own a firearm. But it's one of those things where, like, I mean, every day I come in the shop, 45, man, that's a one-round man stopper. I only carry one round of my 1911 because that's all it needs.
Right.
That type of stuff, or even though 40 Smith & Wesson is about to be a dead caliber, oh man, you gotta use 40, because it's like the best of both worlds. It's the worst of both worlds, and it's that type of thing where they just, if you spent 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, just researching or heaven forbid watching Practically Tactical, you might be a little more informed, and yeah. But kind of going back to your thing of basic firearm safety rules. Literally the other day I was running 5-stand for an event. So if those aren't familiar with 5-stand, there's 5 shooting positions at shotgun that throws sporting clays from different areas, and each station is different. And I'm going down the line in a pair.
It's really, really hard. It's really hard.
It's fun though. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
So I'm going down the line. We're doing report pair. So I push it. It throws a clay. As soon as I hear him shoot, I push another button that throws another clay. Report pair. And so I'm going down the line, and this guy's like, hey, I only got one shot. Bang! Oh, I don't have any. Like, you sat there and talked to me the whole time with your finger on the trigger and then pulled the trigger. What are you doing? What are you doing? And thankfully, I mean, it was pointed downrange where it should be, but it's like, what are you people doing? What makes you think it's okay to sit there with a loaded firearm, off safe, when it's not even your turn to shoot, and while in a conversation, your gun goes.
That's awesome.
But again,
you know what it is? It's just an ego. It's an ego thing. It really is, and you'll see that in any walk of life, any profession in life. People think that because you might, like in my field, you might own a certificate, or you might own a gun, and that automatically blesses you with the all-knowing power and knowledge. Like, I own a gun. And it's it's simple. I got it. I think people just like get in that really complacent mindset, and that's the way they stay. It's just a pure ego thing. It's like in the Army, we always said, you're never good at what you do. Never. No matter how much you train, no how much you shoot, you're never good enough. Because when you get in that mindset of being complacent and thinking you know everything, that's when something will happen.
Yeah. No, I think that, no, I believe in that 100%. And again, something funny too in that point of like I watch I've seen Jeff shoot and a bunch of other YouTube guys shoot, and watching Jerry Michalik, and I'm like, God, I am terrible. I am like the worst shooter ever. And then I go down to our range and watch people shoot. And then yeah, you and Bree. And then I go down to our public range and watch people shoot, and I'm like, I am God when it comes to shooting.
I'm fucking the city.
Yes, geez. And but again too, and I hate ragging on them because a lot of them want to be better, but they just don't. You just got to put in that 1 more % of going out and searching for information, And again too, I'm by no means saying that I am the best at anything. I'm probably the worst at anything. I'm fat. I'm semi-lazy. I don't do enough training. I know that, but I'm at least trying for the time and the resources that I have to at least try to be a little bit better. And I think that really all it would take for some people is just to take that same mindset again. Don't think you're the best. No, you're not the best, but try to at least learn what you can. And I don't know. I think that's a good way to at least to approach it if you don't have the money or time or resources to do a lot of training. Am I on spot there?
I mean, I think so. Well, here's the other thing: it's like the more you know, you don't know.
Yes.
So
yes.
It's when you don't know, and I'm not saying that this was you. Well, actually, no. Everybody has to start from a place of not knowing, because well, I'm not going to go into some philosophical crazy thing here. I'm not smart enough. But, the more you understand, it's like, wow. Okay, excuse me, let me back up. First class I ever took, I never realized that there was an actual process for how to draw your firearm. I was like, whoa, look at that. There's actual sequences and steps that made sense, and there was a purpose. You don't just have your gun in your hand suddenly. You know what I mean? And then it was, oh wow, guns don't work some of the time. Like I figured when they don't work, I just hand it to my father when I was a little kid, and he fixed it somehow. It's like, wow, there's something called malfunction clearances, and why should I know these? So the more you know, you don't know, and it's certainly it can be very overwhelming. And I was training someone very close to me actually last night, and they were just expressing after the session how they felt a little bit better, but they still felt very, very uncomfortable with the whole shooting someone kind of thing. Shooting someone that needs to be shot. Even if they need to be shot, it's like, what are the repercussions, and what are the legal ramifications, and what if I'm sitting in jail and I'm separated from my family, and what if what if it's a gray area, or what if it's a bad shoot? And you know what I told him? I said, look, here's the thing. You've got the interest in learning more, in knowing more. I will train you, but it's like you can't. The only thing that you can't do for another person is put in their time. You know what I mean? Someone has to actually spend time behind the gun. Needs to spend time in classes. So I told him. I said, look, just take our concealed carry 1 class. Which sounds very, very basic, but we actually cover a lot of stuff. We carry legal ramifications, legalities surrounding use of lethal force, universal safe gun handling rules, and the lesson built into that with, like, well, what then? It's kind of expounding upon that. How to shoot accurately, how to draw, what to do, as far as post-fight. And for a 5-hour kind of thing, that'll give you at least a much better understanding, because all the questions that he had are completely valid, legitimate questions. But that's why there's classes. That's why there are trainers, so that you can actually go out there and answer those things for yourself. And then you open up this. I think you can look at it one of two ways. You can look at it as this tremendously overwhelming thing, or this incredible growth area. This incredible growth area that you can become much more proficient with something that you care about, and much more proficient in protecting yourself so you get home to your loved ones, and protecting your loved ones so they don't die in front of you because you were unable to protect them.
Yeah. No, I think that's a fantastic way to put it. And too, Greg, I hope there's no one out there that doesn't believe us, but when you look back to the Army, how much training did you guys ever stop? You don't ever reach a point now where you're like,
no,
I've got it all. We're good.
Never,
no?
Never. And it's funny because I was going to touch on what Jeff was saying, and I think like at some point where you were saying, or like a gun malfunctions, or you learn like, wow, you think you know something, and then you go and you take some further training, and you're like, wow, there's so much more to this than I thought. Like when I came out basic training, I was like, man, I can clear a room. Throw me in a room right now, I'll clear it. And that was like a glass house of one room. And then like before, you're training and you're pre-deployment, and you're going into villages and you're going to 10 stories, and you're like, oh man, how do I clear furniture? Oh, what about closets? And like the more you learn about it, you're like, I know nothing. Like I know nothing. But that's when I first came out. I was like, I know everything. And then like my first like urban ops field that I did, I was like out of my league. But that's how it is kind of going back to what I was saying earlier. You're never truly really 100% good at what you do if you think like at some point you're like, I'm maxed out, like I know everything, because there's always some information or somebody out there that knows something, a better way to do it, or a better way to do it, or a different way to do it, or something like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I mean you're totally right. You're totally right. And the other thing about that, kind of just to go right into that, is like when you were doing the urban ops or the MOUT training. I was never in the military. I'm probably screwing up the terms, so forgive me. But you know, I think like. Okay, so you take a basic class, you know, you got your gun handling down, you understand malfunction clearing, you got your legalities down, you know, like when not to shoot people, when it's really the time to shoot someone because there's no other option, etc. But there's also the thing of like the force-on-force whole issue. And then there's also, when you get into that, is the failures. And I think that, like, I recently had a training failure, and it made me really think, because if it's always like, you know, attaboys, and yeah, you're shooting very well. We learn more, I think. Once we, you know, I mean, obviously you don't want to take a brand new shooter who's just like, you know, gotten over the fear of the gun going off and throw them into like a full-fledged evolution with a fist helmet and getting their ass kicked because they'll never come back. It'll be a failure beyond, probably be traumatizing amongst other things. But once you have that stuff down, getting, you know, real training time and actually risking, you know, ego and maybe some bruises and maybe injury, hell, that's where we really learn what our deficits are.
Yeah.
You know?
I always, when I ever do something, I always look at it like an AAR, an after action report, you know, for military types. When you do something, you're not just gonna be like, here's your attaboys, like this is what you did good. You need to look at what you did good, what you did bad, and what are the steps to improve that. That's the, you know, if you ever go out and like, you know, you're gonna train, or you know, you're taking a class or whatever, you know, that's the best way to look at it is, okay, what did you do right? What did you do good? You know, okay, cool, let's keep that up. Now, what did you do bad, or what did you do wrong? How do we improve that, or how do we make that better, or, you know, how do we correct that? I think that's the, you know, however you do your class, you know.
And that's one of the other things that like kind of drives me crazy with how gun-centric our culture is, you know. And it's like, look, if you carry a gun, good on you if you know how to use it and you've trained with it. I really get annoyed, but again, you know, I'm trying not to. I'm trying to be more like relaxed and stuff. With like, for example, super open carry advocates and stuff like that, where, you know, here's the thing, that's fine until it doesn't work anymore. And, you know, taking someone like that, and this is the kind of the challenge that I challenge them to do, is that's fine, but now let's get into a gun grapple. Now let's get into an entanglement where, you know, you're not 7 yards away and you know, there's more than one person, and they're tangled up with you, and you're on your back, and they're punching you. You know, everything works until you get punched in the face. Yep. That's kind of like this thing that we have going on now. One of my buddies, Sean Luca, and Craig Douglas, and Cecil Birch, and all these different people, Paul Sharp. It's like, look, that works awesome, bro. Now you do that move, do the thing, and I'm gonna punch you in the face, and you'll see how much crap doesn't work. And it's just like, you know, so these gun arguments, and it's like, oh, you're anti-open carry. Look, at this point, it's, well, I'm not going to get in an open carry debate, but contextualize your training, and if you've never actually gun grappled and done it under pressure and done it with multiple people, which is what it probably is going to look like on the street, then you're kind of just masturbating. And pissing off your neighbors, and making it so that other people can't carry guns legally or lawfully in an establishment, because you got to have a friggin' AR-15, you know,
3-point
showing off your right.
3-point AR, 8-net chilies, barrels in your chicken and stuff.
Yeah, with like you know, a UTG laser and a Leaper's scope, and you know
over your bib.
18.
You like got a bib.
You know, an 18-sided friggin' foregrip with 300 pounds of shit on it. It's like, sorry, I went off topic.
The tactical dong that hangs off the AR. That's what it is.
Yep.
And I'm gonna give even more hate, because our last episode, we just did an episode of things that should be removed from the firearms industry. Yeah,
I'm so glad I wasn't on.
Oh, we pissed off a lot of people.
Honestly.
We pissed off a lot of people, especially when I called out a bunch of gun bunnies by name. That didn't go over too well.
I I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
I want to watch.
It's
I'm gonna watch it.
Because
it's a good
they
one.
texted me, it's like, "Hey, we're doing the 1 year thing," and I was like, "You've been on for a year? People watch this?" So I was like, "Oh my god, how many episodes since 1 to where we are? What episode is this?"
48.
Oh shit!
48.
I've got like 46 episodes to watch, man.
Yeah, we've taken 4 weeks off. So obviously before the podcast we took off Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then I had to take 2 weeks off in September when I started my new job, and schedule was crazy. So it's been 1 year, but wow, we're filling up so much time. But I'm gonna jump a little bit here. I was gonna say one more thing. It's spinal. I gotta get the other Mike Tyson quote in there. I'm gonna have to actually. I think we're gonna have to skip the EDC thing here because one thing maybe we'll get it after this, but I really want to talk about Jeff because Jeff has this amazing class coming up, and Jeff, I want to give you all the time you need to take to talk about this upcoming class because I think it kind of goes a lot in line with kind of the stuff we've been talking about today.
Yeah, it's going to be a joint class that I'm doing with William April of April Risk Consulting. It's going to take place November 8th and 9th of this year in Palmyra, Pennsylvania, at Palmyra Sportsman's Club. 2 days of training, $400, a couple bucks for range fees, and it's probably the most excited that I've been for a class for as long as I can remember. Basically, William April is a criminologist and a criminal psychologist, and he's going to go into stuff that, as somebody that studied criminology in college and thought I had a pretty good, at least textbook understanding of criminals and stuff like that, and what makes people tick. And I was an actor, so you're thinking about again, what makes people do the things they do. I was so blown away with William April when I first heard one of his lectures. It was a 2-hour lecture at the Rangemaster Conference in Memphis, Tennessee, and I was just blown away. It was stuff that I never ever heard or thought about, and it was about what makes a violent criminal actor, i.e., a bad guy, someone who uses violence against other people as part of their way of life to achieve a criminal means. And what makes them tick? Why do they do the things they do? How is our psychology different from them? How we can deselect ourselves as best as possible from their sites. And it's just going to be a fantastic class. William is going to do a 2-hour lecture on Saturday, a 2-hour lecture on Sunday, and then the rest of the days are going to be filled with rather advanced shooting drills. Definitely looking forward to taking people out of their comfort level. And a lot of the things that we're going to be doing, I guess I don't want the first time that you feel adrenaline, anger, sadness, fear, oh shit, can I actually do this, to be in a street application. If it is, then I failed as a trainer. My job as a firearms instructor, as a self-protection instructor, is to get you to a level where, sure, there's still going to be an element of all those things, but at least you've experienced that before. Also, when you use any kind of motor program, i.e. something physical, under stress, while you feel stress, i.e. when you feel stress, you retain that information much better than you do when you're just like, okay, and go. Tack, 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 tack. Like everything's beautiful and butter. When there's actual stress involved, you retain the skills better, and you're able to reproduce them in a stressful situation. So, in fact, I'm sure that Greg can probably talk about some of that from having been in Iraq and done some, think about the most hardcore training that you did while you're in the military, and hopefully some of that did prepare you. I hear from a lot of people that it didn't, that they had massive training failures when it came to that kind of thing. And I think that the Army's really stepping up into, at least from what I understand from friends, into the 21st century with that stuff, trying to get it much more realistic than it was in the past with just, plain Jane shooting, like positional shooting. But and I want to hear from Greg in a sec. But yeah, so that's about the class. I highly recommend people sign up for it. It's going to be one of those things where I want to really have a good showing for William April when he comes up here, so that we can have him out here again. And it's just going to be really, really good. Expect to fire anywhere between 750 and 1,000 rounds. There's that kind of little bit of a leeway between the two things, only because a lot of the drill is going to be a specific round count. So on the threat command, people are going to decide how many rounds they feel they need to fire in order to accomplish the task at hand. So people like Mark, who's going to be taking the class, he shoots a lot. People that are more conservative or maybe have a single stack gun will need less rounds to actually accomplish what they need to accomplish. But that's the class, man. You got to come take it in order to get more information about it. It's not a first-time class as far as a beginner class. At least have something under your belt. But regardless of the level of expert that you bring, we're going to make you a better, faster shooter and a much more street-savvy individual. And that's just what it's going to be. So I'm about as psyched as I can be, and I really want to get that class packed.
Awesome.
And go to armdynamics.com, click on the registration page, and that's got all the stuff. Also got a 54-minute interview that I did with William April where he talks about his brilliant genius stuff having to do with criminals, and so click that and watch that to get like a whole big greater picture in his words and not mine, because he's way smart.
Well,
that's my spiel. How was that? Was that a pretty good spiel?
That was awesome. I would love to go to that class. And for those listening on podcast, I'll embed the video in the show notes. So if you go to our website, practicpodcast.com/048, there'll be the video right there. You can click on play to watch Jeff do his own live stream as well. So,
oh yeah, and we mentioned Nick of Practically Tactical, because you were the one that got us set up to do the thing. Because I was like, where do I click? This is beautiful, but I don't understand it. Yeah.
But no, that was, and I think that might be something that might be overlooked. Is you're talking about that psychology standpoint of not the shooter. You're talking about external other people and their mindset and psychology, and I think that's something that's not necessarily hit on. Is again how to at least deselect yourself, or push yourself out of that being selected mode. That's not really hit on, and I think that is absolutely fantastic, because again, everything out in the world, we don't get to decide. We don't get to decide what happens or what everybody else does, and I think that's a really important aspect to think about. A quote that I was going to use for the EDC stuff, but I think it applies here. And Keith from MDFI used it, and I think he said he got it from somewhere else. But if you only carry a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. Mm-hmm. And I think that this obviously adds a different approach to it of thinking and the way that maybe you do things or approach things or act maybe.
The one thing that actually Bill April said in the video, and the person I was training last night's, he watched the interview that I did with him, and he said, something really, really, really stuck with me, and that was one, the defensive predator, and two, and which is the point, the quote that I want to say is, as far as, I'm going to use it in the sense of, this is why you should take this class. Ready for it? Because the world is not as it should be. The world that we live in is not as it should be. That's why we carry guns. That's why we have medical training. Because not everybody is like Greg and Nick and Jeff and many of the guests that you've had on the show. Everybody except Steve Fisher. I'm kidding. Steve Fisher is so funny. And there are people out there that will take what's meaningful to us. And I'm not talking about our television. I'm talking about your kids, your loved one, your significant other, your mother, your father. There are really disgusting, horrible people out there, and that's why you take a class like this. And I guarantee you that you'll be a better shooter and much more mindful of what's actually going on as far as how criminals think after this class. So I'm totally psyched, bro.
I think it's going to be an awesome show. An awesome... I mean, I don't even want to say a class, because it's kind of more than that. It's more than I don't know. I guess we'll go with class. I don't know, but to me it seems like it could be kind of a life-changing event. It almost sounds like you're going to have a baby at the class. I think that we're anti having babies at the class. But
babies are not welcome.
Yeah, the other cool thing is that I'm gonna be doing our neural, our experiential mindset block of training too in that class, and that I've heard from many people that is kind of a game changer as far as mindset goes. So yeah, so that's about as hard as I want to pimp the class. I can't say enough good things about William April, and I really hope that people continue to sign up, and it's gonna be cool.
All right. Well, we'll start wrapping it up here, but we did have one question from our live audience here that I did want to hit on, and Jeff, you can hit on this, and it's something that I've hit on kind of in the show before, and it's something that I need to personally do, I'm sure. But Leonard Money asked, do any of you guys have the insurance in case you're in a shooting, and what do you think of it? Jeff, do you want to hit on that?
Yes. There's two different, what I like to break down is two different kinds of insurances. There's the NRA insurance, which is provided by a company called Lockton Risk out of London, and it's a self-defense insurance. They give you a bunch of money. The only issue with the NRA insurance that I see is that it's only awarded to you after the fact. Okay, so, after you're cleared of charges, found not guilty, then they award you the money, then they pay out. They don't really give you any money up front to get the legal ball rolling. So while that is a good insurance to have, the one that I say is even better than that would be the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network. Armed Dynamics is actually an affiliate of Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network, and that is every single class that I do, I talk about this right after our legal lecture, which is I just do a very simple kind of 20-minute legal lecture, and basically, I think it's $150 a year for a couple, or like $95 for a single person, and then $75 for each additional year. They will, for the price of your membership fee, they send you a little card for your wallet with a call number. On the back, it says who your lawyer is. As far as you write that in, you pick the lawyer. They send you a list of approved lawyers in your states or recommended lawyers that specialize in covering people in defensive shootings, and they send you a slew of DVDs. I mean, it's a stack of DVDs by the absolute best, top-level experts in the industry, like Masada Ayub of Lethal Force Institute, Dr. Marty Hayes. They've gotten so far, it's such a well-thought-out organization that on the DVDs that you watch, it's got little lines written on them so you can sign initial and date, which becomes court admissible, like, look, I watched this video, I watched this video, I watched this video, I don't want to use my gun, this was my last option, blah, blah, blah. Additionally, they will send you more updated DVDs when they can become available for free as part of your membership fee. And when you use, hopefully you don't have to use, but if you do need to use a weapon, your fists, a blade, to protect yourself, to protect your loved ones, they will, if you're charged with a misdemeanor, they'll immediately put up $5,000 for your legal defense. Immediately. Okay, not after the fact, but just to get the legal ball rolling. If you're charged with a felony, they'll put up $10,000 for your legal defense. They'll also act as a liaison between you and a lawyer in the event that you can't actually pair up with a lawyer that specializes in defensive shootings. They'll go over your lawyer's notes. So it's pretty much, I think, the best of its kind. It's well worth its weight in gold. And if you're a law-abiding gun owner that has taken a training class, understands the use of lethal force, and has the mindset, I highly recommend a group like that. Again, it's Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network. And if you're watching this or listening to this on a podcast, I'd be much obliged if you said that we mentioned Armed Dynamics referred you. Not because I get a kickback from it, only because I really want them to know how hard we pimp them, because they're just an outstanding organization. So hopefully do you think that answers the question, Nick?
Absolutely. No, that's... I guess I thought it was a lot more than that. I mean, really, $100 for myself, that's, what, $11 No, my math is terrible.
And because your math is bad, they will also another thing they do, which is worth for you to get like Masada Ayub of Lethal Force Institute to come to Nick Humphreys trial. That would cost probably about 10 to 30 G's, $10,000 to $30,000 out of your pocket for him to go and be an expert witness. If you're a member of this organization, it's included.
Wow.
So they'll provide expert witness testimony about why you did what you did. Given you don't walk into the street with an AR and just start going blah 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 blah. Bad idea. But if you're involved in a defensive shooting, they'll provide expert witness testimony, which is very big part of the battle.
That's probably very important, we can say. We do have one more question here from Mike Wenger. If I apologize if I completely trashed your name there. And but Jeff, you do a defensive pistol class 2 at Palmyra.
A defensive pistol 2?
Yes.
What was the question?
Jeff, do you do a pistol 2 at Palmyra?
I don't. I may schedule one for next year, like one level 2 class. It's a much smaller class. I cap it at about 6 people, but I don't have any scheduled right now. No. I think that's Mike. I've trained Mike. I think I know that Mike, and I can't pronounce his name either. His last name. What he needs to do is get his ass into Bill April's class. That's what he needs to do.
Oh, well, Mike, you get your ass there because Jeff said so.
Do it.
That's what he needs. He's a pretty high level shooter, having trained him before.
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably the best after training with you.
Oh, please.
Flattery's what I'm good at, my friend.
Where did that bell come from?
Somebody's cooking Greg dinner, I think.
That was like perfect timing.
But we're gonna move to wrap it up here, and we'll do a quick little wrap up here and talk about maybe some upcoming things and stuff. But something I wanted to point out. So we're recording this on our 1-year episode. Obviously, this will hit out in podcast here in a week or so. But something that we're gonna be doing here very soon on our Facebook page, we're gonna be announcing a huge giveaway of all sorts of stuff. A bunch of 22 long rifle for those that are in the market for that. We're giving away a ton of that. A bunch of other products and some companies that have helped support us along the way. So just stay on tabs on our Facebook page, facebook.com/practicallytactical. We'll be announcing a huge 1-year anniversary giveaway thing when this episode hits out on podcast. That way all of our podcast listeners can get in on that as well. But again, just follow us on Facebook. Again, find Armed Dynamics on Facebook, man. If you like pictures of guns, pretty good Facebook page. You kind of can't go wrong there. So check it out for all the work he does. But so Jeff, obviously you got your big class coming up. What else you got going on, man?
Well, I picked this up. Well, I'm doing gunsmithing, I'm doing martial arts, and I'm training people. So I'm pretty packed and booked up. But I found this at the shop, and this is the revolver, not the one that was actually in the movie, but the revolver that Clarice used to kill Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs.
Ah.
Yep.
Little creepy, but cool. I'm on board. I'm still on board here.
I just wanted to hold it and make it kind of awkward. This is a really cool old school Bolt Commando, basically, that I built, and it's an old A1 upper. I mean, really old school A1 upper. 11.5 inch. Barrel with a permanently installed 5.5 inch flash hider. It's got a Meprolite front night sight, and a BCM charging handle and a flashlight. But other than that, old Zytel stock, old A1 grip, even the old school teardrop forward assist. So I built this the other day. This is my beater rifle, and consider that my other AR weighs like 15 pounds. This is my lightweight. All y'all with your little SIG braces and crap. This is the original old school blaster. So this is my thing.
Greg, does that bring back some memories?
I've seen them. That's actually old school for me.
I know.
Yeah, this is before. This is like Vietnam.
Yeah, it's Throwback Thursday right now. You are holding that actual Throwback Thursday.
Yeah, dude. And I gave it a trigger job that John Robinson taught me how to do, and it's a really nice trigger.
That's nice. It's got a nice classic setup. I can enjoy that.
Yeah, dude. Check it out.
I would go to NAMM with that thing.
Well, this is like, you know, Vietnam period. You know, even with the teardrop forward assist and all that, and actually the whole when I have this old like third edition Assault Weapons Digest book, you know, soft cover, and there's this Thai soldier on a train, and he's sitting there, and he's got the well, actually, I could pose like it. He's got this like full commando like this, and he's got a cool look on his face. And everyone that would walk by would obviously get swept with his muzzle and stuff, but he didn't care because he's a Thai soldier with a Colt Commando on a train. And I never forgot that picture, so finally I had the opportunity to build one, and so I did. And that's the whole story.
He would be proud. He would be so proud.
I think he would be proud.
So Greg, obviously, what's kind of going on with you, and what's the next steps in this EMT kind of? I don't want to say train wreck. That would be the improper term, but this ride you're on.
Yeah.
I just called your education a train wreck.
Yeah. It feels like I'm actually at the point. I'm actually tied up with 2 A&P classes. I'm actually taking a normal, regular college level A&P, and I'm taking a paramedic A&P at the same time. That sucks. But after paramedic, the horizons, I've contemplated possibly going into some RN. I have thought about, once I have the free time, participating in that. You did an interview with them. Help me out here. The Build Your AR thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, SDI.
I've contemplated when I get some free time. I thought that'd be a fun little thing to do. But right now I'm just kind of focused on what I'm doing. I actually don't have time for anything else. So between that and work.
Yeah.
So, but once that's tackled, the horizons are there.
Well,
so
we can maybe do an episode on how to treat bullet wounds. So
that'd be pretty cool. I'll see if I can do some interviews. So what's it like getting shot, man?
That'd be a good thing. I wonder if people would watch and listen to something about medical.
I thought about not too long ago. Nick and I threw around the idea of doing something along those lines. Remember, we were talking about maybe for people that wanted to get into it or wanted to know more about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the legal. I mean, because I know I can't just personally go out and record people and throw the information out there because that's kind of a huge federal law. But I don't know. I'd have to find out more in terms of that. That'd be something cool. If I could do it, I would definitely do it. I know it's possible, but I just don't know how to go about it. But I'll ask around. We'll see. That'd be a pretty cool thing to put together.
No, just take a little camera with me, like, hey, bro, you just got shot. Tell us what you're feeling right now.
Oh, you mean talking about doing one on the street?
Yeah.
Oh, now that'd probably be HIPAA and stuff.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
So,
you just got shot. How do you feel? Tell us what you're feeling.
That's the best question.
Talk a little louder.
I love the reporters that are like, sir, your house just got destroyed by that hurricane. How do you feel?
Yes. Tell us what you're going through.
But you gotta ask the question after you administer like tons of pain meds, just so you can try to get that one viral answer, like that guy in New York with half naked. Like, I don't even remember what was going on. You remember? You know what I'm talking about? No, I'm just mentioning half naked guys for no reason. All right, roger that.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad because it's just a blur. It's just a blur of naked dudes at this point.
My kind of show, guys.
All right, well, we're going to wrap it up here. Again, this is our kind of one-year thing again. And again, thank you so much to all of our viewers and listeners out there. This has been an absolute crazy ride. I never would have known that the Handgun Newbie YouTube channel would have turned into this. Boy, if I could go back and change my YouTube name.
I like it, though. It makes you approachable and stuff. I didn't really realize you were really a handgun newbie either. A year and so what is that? 12 and 18 months ago you bought your first gun.
Yep.
But you were a handgun newbie.
Yeah, that's That was
Hey,
it.
don't forget your roots. Remember what we talked about. Never think you know everything. Never become complacent.
That is
Right. You are still Jenny from the block.
You will always be the handgun newbie.
Well, I will never escape it, and that's that's fine. No, that is a good way to look at it.
You were like, that's fine. I don't care. It's all right.
That was a little salty.
Fine.
That was a little salty.
Oh, nothing gets by you guys. Nothing gets by you guys. But Jeff, man, thank you for coming on again. Thank you for coming on a year ago, man.
Thank you for keeping this thing afloat.
Yeah, because we had Jeff on the show, and like that was it. We were like, for our second week, man, we were like scrambling. Like Peter Palma came on, and we were like, that was awesome. And then like
How we got to top this?
It was a scramble for a while, but then obviously now it's turned into just a fantastic thing, and I'm blown away by Jeff coming on and Sam and Rob. There's tons of people now that I can't even name all of them off the top of my head. Now there's been so many.
Greg, mostly him.
No,
keep going.
You're gonna be at the bottom of the list there, buddy. But hey, Jeff, thanks for.
I put some cool posts on Facebook.
Every once in a while.
Well,
yeah.
Every once in a while.
It's my tremendous pleasure, guys, and I really like this whole setup, and I would be happy to do another show. Maybe next show we'll talk about like guns and gear or whatever. But yeah, man, anytime I can be on here and make time for it, I will.
Awesome. We could do a show on like ultra weighed down ARs and how you can fit the most amount of shit all over your AR.
Dude. Keep my AR precision rifle. That's legitimately. I mean, it has 90 rounds in it too. It's a little bit of overkill, but the whole reason I built it was because I wanted to shoot like at 600 and stuff, and everyone's making these super lightweight ones, so I wanted to make the heaviest one I could.
You're gonna show them.
I'll show. Oh well, it's upstairs.
Yeah. Well, no. You're gonna show them that you're not a wuss. Wow. You got the gun show going on.
Yeah,
that's lug that gun.
You need a lightweight AR because you need to work out more, bruh.
Oh man, Greg, dude, it was awesome hanging out with you in Idaho. It's been too long since we've had on the show, but thanks for coming on and I guess
like saying random things.
Yep, pretty much. Having Bill really off in the background. Yeah.
Not really offering anything solid, just little comments.
Yeah. You did well though. You did well. I would give you a C for the episode.
Okay. Well,
Greg, you're beautiful in your face area. You're beautiful in your face area, Greg.
Yeah.
Your universe is like filled with unicorns and stardust and shit.
Puppy smiles.
Oh my god.
Puppy smiles.
Puppies are so cute.
Moon rays. Just moon rays.
If I had a chocolate lab puppy, I would kiss him. I'd kiss him until he vomited.
You'd lick his nose. Admit it.
Oh my god. I'd name him Buford or Gus.
Buford. All right. We're going to end it here before we start crying thinking about puppies and kittens.
Oh, man. Kittens are disgusting.
But for everybody out there that's listening, if you guys haven't checked out the Gun and Gear Review podcast, it is a fantastic show, and not to mention I was just kind of on it. So that may be a good reason to listen to it, but actually Ryan and TJ that's on the show often does a very good show, and they do a real good unbiased look at gear. So go check them out, please. Also, go like the Firearms Insider Facebook page. They just launched a new Facebook page where they're posting up gear reviews, so go check that out as well. Really, guys, we want your feedback here at Practically Tactical. So send me your complaints, feedback, guest suggestions to nick@firearmsradio.tv. Also, please give us a review on iTunes, as it really helps us out. It really boosts us up in the rankings. Jeff, can you tell everybody out there to give us a good review on iTunes, please?
Give us a good review, or I'm going to pull a Clarice on you. This is the Model 13 Smith & Wesson, the most powerful handgun. Yeah, if you liked it, give a good review. That all helps. It's like everybody wants to like go to a restaurant and Yelp really bad stuff. Well, the good reviews help the restaurant too. And this is a restaurant of knowledge.
Oh, dang, that is good.
I just made that shit up.
That was awesome.
That was crazy. I can't believe that. Oh my god.
That was
Dude,
awesome.
I'm like philosophical out now.
Yeah, bro. Rocked your world, bro.
And as always, like I said earlier, guys, find us on Facebook. We'll be doing a big giveaway announcement here shortly. And again, go find Arm Dynamics on Facebook. It has a great Facebook page. And YouTube, man. One of the hands-down best channels for firearms and instruction and learning videos that are out there, hands down. He has a fantastic YouTube channel. You really got to go like his YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the show notes. Or search Arm Dynamics on YouTube. You can find it. A fantastic channel that should have 100,000 more subscribers than it does now. Absolutely deservingly so as well. Puts up fantastic info, fantastic videos that are straight to the point, and just give the true, honest information. So go find him on YouTube.
Well, thanks, bro.
No, just being honest, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Just being honest.
Bro.
I'm serving out. I'm serving out plates of knowledge here, bro. We're dishing it out.
This is a la,
Serving up plates of knowledge.
this is a la carte, but buffet too, bro.
Oh, we're inviting you to get fat on our knowledge.
I feel so proud.
Happy 1 year.
That's right. Oh, that's right.
Happy 1 year.
Happy 1 year as well. Again, thank you to everybody out there. I greatly appreciate it. You're gonna break it. But again, yes, awesome 1 year. Here's to one more. Again, thank you, Greg. Thank you, Jeff, for coming on. I greatly appreciate it. And everybody out there, guys and gals, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you next week for another episode of Practically Tactical.
Bye.